Hey everyone, so today we have with us a very special person indeed. She's a young professional studying wellness and health throughout and an inspiration to many women, of course. Her name is Urvi Gajra. She's a dietitian and she's a wellness coach. She's also into corporate wellness and she's been featured on various platforms and working with companies like IBM, Geo, to just name a few. She's a naturotherapist, she's a yoga therapist, she's a certified diabetes educator. And I welcome you, Urvi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Palak, for inviting me.
Yeah, so we'll begin with, diabetes because many of us have heard the term diabetes, but we're not really sure of, what exactly diabetes is, how it happens, what are the types. So can you please throw some light on that?
Sure. So, starting with diabetes, India is a hub for diabetes. Like almost 70% or even more are diagnosed with either diabetes or are pre-diabetic. Now, what exactly is diabetes? Is you might have heard that मुझे sugar की बीमारी है. So, people in India refer to diabetes as sugar की बीमारी. So, diabetes has two types. The first one is type 1 is it occurs in small children. So where the insulin is not produced. Now insulin is a hormone that lowers your sugar. So supposingly you are eating something that is high in sugar or any food that you eat, it is going to end up into glucose. Now glucose is a form of sugar. So when the glucose inside your body is goes higher, then there's a hormone called as insulin. It will trap the sugar, it will tell the sugar to go inside the cell. So right now the sugar was inside the blood. Now insulin will tell the sugar to go inside the cells. So the cells can absorb that sugar and it can work on it. It can produce energy. Now what happens is when this insulin is not produced at all, the cells that produce insulin are the most affected one in type 1 diabetes. So what we have to do is we have to give insulin shots. So the person suffering from type 1 diabetes has to constantly take insulin shots, and this occurs around 15 to between the age group of around 10 or 15. So these young children are the most who are suffering from type 1 diabetes, and it continues throughout. Now the other one is it is because of the lifestyle disorder. So what is lifestyle disorder basically? Anything that is caused by very disrupted lifestyle. Like we are just sitting on the screen, we are working at one place, very low physical activity, a lot of stress, very low quality of sleep. All of this leads to lifestyle disorders. And what are the lifestyle disorders? PCOS, PCOD, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, high blood pressure, all the heart related problems, liver related problems, stomach related problems, indigestion, all of these are lifestyle disorders. So the major problems that we are facing nowadays are basically lifestyle disorders. And these are the two types. Yeah, so the second type of diabetes is because of the lifestyle disorder. And again, there are two types. So one is insulin insensitive. Now, the sugar goes high, insulin acts, it will bring it down, high, low, high, low. This occurs continuously. So that peak, when it is generated continuously, even the cells become insensitive. That now I'm not ready to accept insulin. Now please, leave me alone for some time. So the cells become insensitive. The second case, what happens is the cells that are producing insulin, now they are tired of producing insulin again and again at that high rate. So these are the two reasons for which the diabetes mellitus, that is the type 2 diabetes occurs. These are the two types.
Which one, like type A or type B, is more severe? And why is it that, second question would be, why is it that kids are getting diabetic at an early age? Because lifestyle is not responsible there. So then, is it the lifestyle of their parents or the mother who's bearing the child at that time is making certain mistakes? Is it that?
It's not about the mistakes made by the mother, but it also kind of comes from the DNA or the genes. So, gene may be one possible reason for that type 1 diabetes to occur, but we cannot completely blame it on parents' lifestyle or parents' thing. So it is not about only, but yeah, if both the parents are diabetic, then there are chances that it might get transferred into the kid. So in the form of type 1 or in the form of type 2, generally, if both the parents have type 2, the transfer diabetes would be type 2. Type 1 is again a rare situation, but it is very common.
Hmm.
And these children, so the cells, the formation of these cells that are producing the insulin, that is not occurring in the young stage. That is the main problem.
And once if someone gets diabetic, say with lifestyle changes and you're borderline diabetic and you start getting diabetic, what are the various practices and solutions that we can adapt in our lifestyle in order to, deal with this situation way better and not let it go worse or out of hand?
Yes, so again, as I said, that diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. So definitely the only solution can be a better lifestyle. So the first thing that you have to do is cut down on your sugar. Now we all know that sugar has become a very important part of our diet. We cannot live without sweets. We cannot live without anything sweet, as it's a dessert, right? And I'm not
Exactly.
telling you to deprive that dessert from your life, because many of us, we just live to eat. And why not? Tasty food is a right for everyone. So what I can say is, if you are diabetic and if the sugar level is extremely high, then you should completely avoid sugar. But if you are pre-diabetic, then what are the healthy swaps that you can do is, first thing is, sugar that we get in the market, the normal sugar, is not the only culprit. So there are hidden sugars inside our food. For example, maida. Now maida is the most simplest food to digest. Like when you eat that naan and everything, of course it becomes difficult to digest, but once maida is absorbed into your bloodstream, the sugar spike that it gives, it is very high. So you'll get that peak in the raise in the blood sugar level. So all the products made up of maida, like bread, even brown bread, then pav, uh, all the farsan, then everything that is basically made up of maida, like samosas or
So you were
that
saying
we get.
there is sugar content in it. Uh,
No, so diabetes is not only caused by sugar.
hmm.
It is caused by elevated level of glucose in the blood. So diabetes is high level of glucose in the blood. Now glucose is not only coming from sugar, it is coming from food, it is coming from carbohydrates basically. So we have to, first thing is, you cut down the sugar, but even if you're not eating anything sweet, like the sugar part, your diabetes will rise, like the blood sugar level will go up. Why? Because you are eating glucose in the form of all of this, in the form of these simple carbohydrates.
And what about
So
fruit sugars, Urvi? Like we see
yeah,
some
so
people
fruit
take,
sugar,
yeah, fruit
yeah,
sugar
fruit sugar
and
is called as fructose.
hmm,
So even fruit sugar in its concentrated form will kind of elevate the glucose level in the body. So for diabetic people, we tell to avoid mango, chikus, and all the high pulp fruits like mango, chiku, and also grapes. Again, they are little bit high in fructose content. So the other fruits like apple, again banana, diabetic people should avoid because it is high in carbohydrates. You can go for elaichi banana, the smaller version of banana, and even the carbohydrate content is low. So it is not only about controlling sugar, it is about controlling maida, it is about controlling the meal timing. How much carbohydrate are you ingesting at in one meal? For example, the meal shouldn't be high in carbohydrates. Now if I'm eating aloo puri,
hmm,
so again, puri, it is made up of maida, it is fried in oil, and aloo, again it is high in carbohydrates. Now, what if I want to eat puri today? I'm craving for puri. So instead of aloo, I'll go with chole. So I ate chole puri maybe. I'll try. So that was just because of one craving, right? But now let's walk upon giving up this craving, or how do we stop this craving? So once you start working out, once you start with that lifestyle modification, even this sugar cravings will come down. And the main reason for sugar craving is stress. So whenever you feel a lot of stress, the first thing that your hand or even my hand, like I just crave for sugar when I'm stressed. So it goes to a sweet or something, Indian sweet or chocolate, even dark chocolate, but it goes to that. So we have to work on the main root cause, that is reducing the craving as well.
That's insightful. Also, Urvi, there are a lot of suggestions from all around where people say, when you're having tea, you should put jaggery. Some people say put stevia. Some people say use sugar free, like all of these supplements. So, what is your take on all of these being healthy or not? Like, which is the most healthiest? Yeah.
Okay, so replacing your normal sugar with jaggery powder or with jaggery, what happens is even jaggery will give you glucose at the end while it is absorbed from your body, and even this normal sugar was giving you glucose. So both of them are providing you glucose, and even jaggery will raise the blood sugar level. So switching it to jaggery won't help. Stevia is a good option because it is natural sugar, and the peak that I'm talking about, it doesn't raise it too much. Then sugar free again, it is many added preservatives and emulsifiers are added into that. So I would suggest, this is my personal suggestion, that people should not go for sugar free, but stevia is a good option if you want to replace your normal sugar. But again, jaggery, honey, they are a healthy alternative of sugar, but not for diabetic people,
Okay.
because in the end it is going to raise the blood sugar level, and now this raised blood sugar level will affect your lungs, the eyes, the kidney, the overall health.
All right. Another thing that was there was that women these days, especially our generation, are facing so many lifestyle changes because the life is so fast paced, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not ourselves to blame for everything, but sometimes we're ourselves not able to focus on everything apart from the other things that we're doing. So, health is also
Yeah.
primary, but unfortunately, it's become secondary these days. And hypothyroidism and like PCOS, PCOD, diabetes, all of this, infertility, all of these issues are very common these days. What can be the main change, reasons behind it, and can you suggest some easy solutions, like which people in general can adopt, women in general can adopt in their lifestyles to make all of these hormonal imbalances work better in their body, right?
Yes, so hormonal imbalance is observed a lot, especially in our aged people, between 18 and then above, during their ovulation state, mainly when they are the most fertile. So this infertility is generally caused by, first thing is genes or obesity during the childhood or during the adolescent period. So if you were obese during adolescent period, though you are very much lean right now, or even if you're obese, so you have to make sure that you're controlling your diet, you're leading a healthy lifestyle, because that obesity during the childhood or adolescent may lead to some hormonal imbalance in the future. Then coming on to stress. While you're too much stressed, the whole system gets a toll, and especially the ovaries. So when your mind is under a lot of stress, even the ovaries goes under a lot of stress, and what happens is you skip a period. So skipping periods for 1 month, 2 months, you might feel that it is normal. But if it occurs for 1 month, it's okay. If it is occurring regularly, like you're skipping uh, every alternate months, you're skipping your periods, then that is an important issue to address. So what happens is the ovulation stage doesn't occur, and PCOD, that is polycystic ovarian disorder, occurs. So the ovaries are under a lot of stress, and instead of putting the egg outside, the cyst is formed around the egg. Now, while this is one cyst, it's okay. But when it becomes poly, that is multiple cyst, so it creates havoc inside the ovaries, and the hormones that were supposed to be produced by the ovaries are not produced in the right content. Now, hormones are basically, they are just released into the blood directly by the endocrine glands. And now the important hormones are released from your thyroid, from the pancreas, that is insulin, then from your ovaries, above the kidney, there's adrenal gland. Now all of these are releasing hormones and they work in symphony. They work in symphony. So every hormone will go and tell other hormone to release its content. So we'll tell the other gland that you should release the hormone now. So everyone works together. Even if one pillar, even if one hormone is affected or is imbalanced. Now, for example, let's take the example of thyroid. Now, when my thyroid gland is not able to produce enough amount of thyroxine or thyroid hormones, then what happens is my metabolism becomes slow. Now, because thyroid controls your metabolism, the thyroid hormone. Now, the metabolism becomes slow, digestions become slow. Now, my body, instead of generating energy, it will store the food. So, the fat percentage goes high, leading to obesity, which will again affect my ovaries, the estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that are produced by the ovaries, and again my insulin will also be affected. So you're seeing it's not just about little less production of one hormone, but it works in symphony, so everything is getting affected. One thyroid issue can affect your digestion, can affect your ovaries, it can affect your diabetes, everything. So
If I'm not wrong, you're saying that your hormones, once they get imbalanced, they start affecting other areas in your body, including like every other part. And it's like a cycle where every other part, when it gets affected, it also starts affecting your, even like your gut starts affecting your PCOS, PCOD.
yes,
Because
yes,
some gynecologist come back told me that your gut and the healthy bacteria, if it gets disturbed, like your small intestine in the gut, that is one of the main causes why you get hormonal imbalances in PCOS and PCOD. So even like your
yeah,
diet, your stress levels, your thought process, everything else is connected to your hormonal imbalances, and it's like vice versa, right?
yes, yes.
So
So
if the system
everything
is
starts from the
broken,
food.
yeah, so if the system is broken, like how does one make it correct? Like,
So for people suffering from PCOS, you can start with seed cycling. Now seeds are very important, that are generally not considered that important. But what happens is there are different types of seeds like flax seeds, then pumpkin seeds. So to like this is the easiest thing and the very important thing that every PCOS person should follow. So starting with flax seeds, 1 tablespoon of flax seeds and pumpkin seeds, one of each, so total two. You should start eating it every day from the day of your menstruation, like the 5 days are completed, post that until 14 days. So the ovulation period, and post ovulation period, again you should start with different seeds, that is sesame seeds. So you should start with sesame seeds, that is tilka seeds, and sunflower seeds. So again from ovulation day until you start with your periods, that is first. So this seed cycling helps to regulate the hormones that are produced by ovaries. So this was the first thing. Then comes diet,
and for how
exercise.
long can we do this? Like seed cycling, we should do it for months at a stretch. Or
Yes, yes, yes. All of these seeds, again, it balances your hormone, but they are also high in omega-3 fatty acids and other nutrients that are definitely required by your body.
yeah,
So you can
natural
continue it.
supplements also. So
Yes, yes, yes. So they are again natural supplements of omega-3 fatty acids, of vitamin D, again sesame seeds, of calcium, of
magnesium.
iron,
Yeah.
yes, of magnesium, and all these vitamins that and minerals that our body requires. So along with being a natural supplement, they are also providing these hormonal balance for the PCOS patients. Now coming on to diet and exercise. So you might have observed that people suffering from all these lifestyle disorders, even if 1 or 2 kgs goes up or down, again the whole body takes a toll and the period is skipped in the next month. So even if a person suffering from PCOS just gains around 2 to 3 kgs, the whole cycle shifts. So make sure that you're maintaining your weight. You are under that normal category of BMI. So according to the height, whatever the weight should be, make sure first thing that you're achieving it by going calorie deficit on your diet, by working out, regular physical activity. Even if you're not, even if you don't have time for working out, just do a little bit of stretches, do a few asanas that directly impact those glands. Like in yoga, there are certain asanas that will affect all of these hormonal glands, that the glands, endocrine glands that produce this hormone. It directly targets that gland. So if you don't have time to practice or to go to the gym, make sure every day you are doing this certain specific asanas. Even that will help. Coming on to diet.
10 minutes at least. Like yoga 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and then if we take seat cycling and implement some of
Yes.
these, like
Yeah.
literally
Everything
half
works
an hour.
together.
Yeah, so that's enough. I think more than
Yeah.
enough if you have a very busy schedule and if you're working, and yeah, that's really
Yes.
insightful.
Yeah. And again, controlling the diet. So controlling white poisons like salt, sugar, and maida. So if you avoid these three, also milk sometimes affects the hormones. So if you know that I'm facing some hormonal imbalance and try to avoid dairy, you can go for yogurt. You can go for dahi
And what
or
about
paneer.
caffeine? Some people say caffeine is very bad for like hormonal imbalances
So
and yeah.
yeah, so there's a hormone known as adrenaline, and what caffeine does, it caffeine goes. Now there's a place for adrenaline. Whenever there's a rush, the adrenaline is produced. Now what happens is caffeine replaces this adrenaline. Now caffeine creates that adrenaline rush. It goes and sits in the adrenaline's position. So now when actually the adrenaline is released, epinephrine it is also called as, so then that hormone doesn't have a place to go or to fit. So it's very biochemistry part. So caffeine is basically replacing it. So you get that rush, you get that high energy levels, or some people face anxiety. So whenever I consume a lot of coffee, it happens with me personally. I get that coffee rush and I just feel so much energetic. I feel like doing something. Again, that's a good thing, right? That I feel energetic, I feel like doing something. But that high energy was induced by caffeine and not by the natural way of adrenaline. So again, high consumption of caffeine may lead to hormonal imbalance. But if you are going to a gym and you just gulp a packet of coffee, so that you can pump up more or you can lift more weight. But not everyone should do it. So if you are too high on caffeine, try to reduce it. Even the hormone will be balanced when you balance your caffeine and the tea content.
Okay. Also, we like our generation is very much into, consuming alcohol and, also smoking sometimes. So,
Yeah.
what would you say that how are these lifestyle choices impacting our bodies? And if people who are too indulgent into smoking and alcoholism, is it really very bad? And does it create long-term harms? Because sometimes we do it in our early 20s or mid 20s and all, and then we later quit, but maybe the damage is done by then. So does it really
Yeah.
happen like that?
So what happens is when alcohol is ingested into your system, then the whole body just forgets about everything else, and the main goal is to remove alcohol from the system. So it works on removing this alcohol. So what happens is digestion is compromised, all the other systems are compromised, and when you are regularly consuming alcohol, then liver is compromised. So uh, the I won't say hormones, the enzymes that are produced by liver, the bile, the other enzymes, again liver is not able to produce it in that quantity, or it just some misfunctioning happens into your liver.
Okay.
leading to liver cirrhosis or fatty liver or alcoholic liver. So liver is the one who is detoxifying alcohol from your system, and then it goes to the kidneys. So liver and kidney, again, both of these are not designed to remove alcohol, right? That high content of alcohol from your blood, but they are still doing it. So they are working extra. They are going out of their way to do all of this. So again, it takes a toll on your liver. It affects your liver if you are very regular with consuming alcohol. And of course, we all know if you're regularly smoking, so it affects the lungs. It will not the effects will not be seen right now as you smoke, but 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, what happens is the lungs vital capacity reduces, the capacity to inhale, the capacity to hold the breath reduces. Then the alveoli, that is the basic most last stage of lungs, where the branches of the lungs when it goes. So from that alveoli, the blood exchange is done. The oxygen and the carbon dioxide is exchanged. So again, they shrink or they become very stiff, or the number of alveoli reduces. So we are basically shortening our lungs. We are reducing its capacity. We are reducing the exchange between the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. We are making it difficult. So again, smoking and alcohol will definitely put a very long term. It is not even a short term. So yeah, a long term disease or disorders in your body.
Well, Urvi, thank you so much for joining us. It was incredible hearing you, and you're so wise, and all your knowledge sharing, I'm sure, will help so many others. And keep doing what you're doing. And we would love to have you again someday and share more knowledge with us.
Thank you so much, Palak, and thank you so much for connecting with me and inviting me here. Even I had, amazing time speaking to you, sharing this knowledge. We have a lot of things yet to talk about, and yeah, looking forward to
Thank
stay
you so
connected.
much.